I cannot wait to see what happens. You mentioned like you came back and all chaos ensued. Like, how serious were you on a scale from 1 to 10? When you stop production, like right here you are, they come after you. Never say never. You're minding your own business. You didn't wake up and say, I think today I'm going to tell Terry and I'm going to go call Bravo. So to do all of this, you make your decision, you talk to her, and then like right away to have this, like how serious were you? Like, when you were stopping production and like, I'm done, guys.
It felt like a betrayal. I mean, it just did. It felt like you asked me to come back. I came back. I've opened up my house and my home and my family, and I get like attacked and ambushed in my house at the very first party. And it all felt so calculated. And I felt betrayed by so many people. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that feel like I overreacted and blamed Shannon. I think that there's more that comes out at the reunion that people might understand, and maybe they won't. Maybe people won't agree with me, but that I don't know. I think that people will understand more why I felt the way I felt and why I reacted the way I did.
Who did you feel the most betrayed by?
Shannon and production.
I mean, that's understandable. Can you please clarify this? Like, here you are, there is this narrative out there that, you're Heather Godfather Dubrow. We could put like an Italian, we can change you from a nice Jewish girl from like Westchester to like, a nice Italian girl from Jersey, that you put the kibosh on Nicole James and said, she's out of here because she spoke up about something.
Didn't happen. As a matter of fact, I tried to talk her into staying. I like Nicole. I've known Nicole for like 7 years. We were never like best friends, but we're friendly. And I would see her at events, and I had a baby shower for a friend a couple of years ago. She was there, friendly. Always ran into her at a restaurant. She's always nice. Never have heard her say an unkind word about anyone. I ran into her. They had asked me to bring a friend on, and I had run into her at a restaurant. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so perfect. She's beautiful. She's got this great lifestyle. She's so nice. She's fun. She likes to have fun. She's got this great family. I thought she'd be perfect. And so I talked to her. I'm the one that brought her on the show, ironically. And then when all this went down, she and I were fine. This was, what happened 20 years ago. And by the way, if you listen to Heather Dubrow's, when is this airing?
Monday, the day before 7 Year Stitch, which we're about to talk about.
So last week's episode of Heather Dubrow's World, you can hear Terry talks about what happened, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, but nothing happened. It was a lawsuit. She dropped it. There was no settlement. There was nothing happened. Trust me, if we had to pony up money, you'd think we wouldn't remember? We'd remember. This was like just something from 20 years ago that got dropped. And I felt so bad that I had brought her onto the show. And then she was ambushed in my house. I mean, like it was, of course I wasn't upset with her. And then I wanted her to stay because I was like, all right, well, that's over. You're good. Just stay. But I think the show just wasn't right for her.
It's not right for everybody, right?
No.
Well, right. Like you had nothing to hide. It was 20 years ago. You wanted her to stay. What do you say, like, do things always come out? Allegedly, we look at like Jen Shaw at Salt Lake and what she's done, Erica Jane and Tom Girardi, allegedly, what happened with like Teresa Giudice, not comparing that to your situation where there was nothing and there was like, but all these things that come out, infidelities, like, do things always come out? Like if you're going to join Housewives, for anyone out there looking.
They do, but then there's also people on the show that try to dig for things and find things. And that I have no tolerance for. Because there's a code on our show. You don't go after careers. You don't go after kids. That's the thing. You just don't.
Right. That's like real life stuff. This is a big deal. I agree, and I personally think the audience doesn't, they want it, but they don't, they like, the
audience likes what we like. They like petty drama. She broke the bow off my cake. She sat in my chair, like stupid shit. And you know why? Because in real life, that's what happens. And yes, sometimes the big thing happens in an authentic way that you like, truth is stranger than fiction. And we're here for it and we want to see it. But but not everything has to be that.
Right. And when you go digging for it, it's not authentic. Now you're forcing this. Like,
No.
we're having a dinner that has nothing to do with this. Why are you even mentioning this? This is a strange segue here.
I mean, think about it, David. What could have happened also is we could have been drunk on a trip and it could have come up and we could have laughed about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Or maybe it would have come up anyway. I have no idea. I just know that it was so long ago and Nicole wasn't bugged by it. We weren't bugged by it. So why did this become a thing?
Totally. Well, speaking of, your new show, 7 Year Stitch, which premieres tomorrow on E at 10 p.m., everyone. We see you give this advice, to Jen. We know Jen Armstrong is going through stuff in real life, and Noella, even Noella, who you have issues with, you said, like, you wouldn't wish this upon anyone. It's clear as a viewer that you and Terry have this great marriage. So first talk to me, let's set the premise for 7 Year Stitch for everyone listening that doesn't know what this show is about.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking couples that are in that precarious 7-year mark, like the honeymoon is over and real life is set in, and they're looking at it like, oh my God, what did I do? I can't stand this. I can't stand that. And we are separating them for 7 weeks. And in that 7-week period of time, we are doing full body, mind, soul makeovers, internal, external, to try to make them their most confident, best selves that they can be in an effort to sort of stitch them back together and bring them back together. The thing is, it's an experiment. Like, if you make someone feel their most confident and their best self, they also may go, you know what? I don't need that person anymore. So it is sort of concerning to see if we're going to succeed or we're going to fail.
Totally. Like, sometimes you're just like, wait a second. I have a total makeover here. Like, why am I with you?
Right. And I just want to say, this isn't about like having plastic surgery and a big, physical makeover and saying that's what's going to help your marriage. But the truth is that sometimes you have something about yourself that makes you feel not confident. Like, if you've had a lot of children and, your breasts are, not what they used to be, and you feel so bad, like you can't be intimate with your partner. Like there's things like that really are hurdles to overcome.
Right. This isn't like The Swan. Shout out to Terry
No,
Dubrow's brilliant The Swan. This is a whole
new thing, because people will say, you guys are couple goals. You guys have been together for 25 years. How do you make it happen? Or there are people that will say, well, if I had their money, we'd be okay too. It's not just about money, but it is about resources. And so what we thought was, okay, game on. Let's help people. Let's give them our resources and see if we can help stitch couples back together that really should stay together, but just don't have the resources.
That makes a lot of sense. What is the best piece of relationship advice, you can give someone, through this process, the 7 Year Stitch and being married to Terry for so long?